Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for tuning in here at Combat Krav Maga San Francisco. This is our official podcast, and I have with me today a very, very special person, one of my students, Antonio Tony Barros-Limon. And we're just going to kind of interview him and grill him and see what his thoughts are on Krav Maga and everything with Combat Krav Maga San Francisco. So, Tony, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us about you and your experience with you and your family here?
Sure. Thanks, Lemon. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to have a conversation with you about this. I've been doing Krav with you for a few months now. I do have years of martial arts experience growing up, and then obviously this is the first I've come back after having a pretty significant injury to my shoulder where I had a dead arm for many, many years. But so I started doing Krav with you initially to be there, take my son. My son was being bullied in school. We wanted to have him, not that we condone violence, but at the same time, we wanted to make sure that he could take care of himself if I'm not there to take care of him myself. And so he was being bullied at school. And so we saw an ad for the gym. We brought him in. He loved it. Like Joel, I think I've told you this in private, but the way you were with him, he's completely responded to it in a way that just made it really, really, really awesome. Like he wants to learn from you, which is not when he's had other teachers that he just doesn't respond to at all. And then so part of it as well was you had a conversation with us about one of the things that makes this really where you could really ingrain it in your family is if you all do it together. So my wife and I, who we weren't intending to join at all, decided all right, let's do it. That way we were showing our son, hey, this is what we're doing this, and we're doing it as a family. And that's he's more inclined to try to do it. And I think that's it's been a really at some point it flipped to where now I'm just into it. I just want to learn more and learn more and learn more. And we could talk about that, but there was a moment where that flipped, but originally it was all about my son.
Yeah. And your son has he's been a blessing here. He's really ingrained himself. He's really come out of his shell. He's not the same child that came.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is the backing from the parents. I think a lot of it has to do with community here as well. So you want to give us your thoughts on our community here and how that feels for you guys?
Absolutely. I think the one thing, my son is neurodivergent, right? So, and I am, but not in the same way that my son is. My son has autism. I have ADHD. My wife has ADHD and suspected autism. But so we all are very what we call neurospicy, right? Watching the community just kind of embrace him, embrace us, right? We go and everyone just loves having my son. My son's just kind of running around, and then he'll stop and do some kicks and punches, and then he'll run around some more. And he's doing this through the class, and everyone just gives him a high five. It's it just feels in a very short amount of time, we've really developed a pretty awesome community with everyone there, to the point where we consider you all our people, right? You all are our people. And I'm participating in a lot of different ways. I'm helping out at the gym. I'm I'm training I'm just training as much as possible. I'm also trying to help other students who are new to martial arts in general. And so having them giving them some pointers from my years and years of martial arts experience. But we have there's all every walk of life you could think of. We got everything. And we work really, really hard. I know that I've watched the instructors and even the students work really hard to have a place that they want to train, somewhere where they want to train, they want to be there, and they want to contribute and that sort of thing. It's just been really great.
Awesome. So what do you think that sets Combat Krav Maga San Francisco apart from, and Krav Maga itself apart from any other martial art that you've been with?
So I think one of the biggest things is it's complete. I find that most martial arts are they're a purely striking form, or they're a purely grappling thing, or they're purely jiu-jitsu on the ground, judo and wrestling for throws, Muay Thai for striking, or just plain boxing for striking. There are very few styles that kind of incorporate all of it and kind of defend against all of it as well. So that to me has been kind of the most important thing. because like my background in wrestling and in jujitsu and taekwondo and boxing, like I have all done kind of all those different things, but none that were just all kind of combined together, or at least how to defend against all of it. And so like I know like for myself, I know I'm constantly bringing questions about how to defend against specific things that I remember from wrestling or from jujitsu or whatever. To see what's the Krav version, like how do we as a Kravist defend against that or deal with that sort of thing. Having like for me, it's complete, right? It's a well-rounded martial art versus like a just a single discipline. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah.
Makes absolute sense. So what do you think about the building itself? So like the entire structure. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
Well, number one, it's like a really great kind of neighborhood. I know that like there was a Krav Maga gym before that I used to walk by when like a long time ago, and it was there for a long time. Um, but it to me, if I remember correctly, it was more geared towards like just like physical health. Like it was like just come do cardio with some kicks and punches. That's at least from what I watched. And so when I saw what you all were doing, it was very much like no, we're actually training, like we train at full speed. We train like with like full contact as much as we can with without breaking someone's fingers or whatever. And I think that like I continuously say that that's like the most important thing you can do for training, because when you get on the street and something happens, you don't want to be surprised by somebody's strength or how bad something hurts, or you know what I mean, because if you're not used to it, right? If you're not used to it, you may get a false sense of security. You may think I can do this against this big guy, but like you don't realize he wasn't actually holding you down the way you get what I'm saying. So that's number one. Number two, like as far as I know, we're the only gym in the city that has, the city being San Francisco, but we're the only gym that has like situation rooms where we can train a nightclub situation, a house break-in situation, a restaurant situation, an office situation, and then we have several rooms where we can just try different things. We were using rifles. We were training with rifles the other day. So we kind of get the whole world, the whole kind of gamut and we have space for it's a huge space. So we have a lot of room for stuff. And I've taken advantage of most of it. Like there's a weight room down there too,
Yeah.
which my wife uses. That's where she's lifting weights. Like I've been in the nightclub. I've worked in the nightclub room. I've worked in the home invasion room. Like so, it's just like there's a lot of different things to try and a lot of different things to do. I think it's like an awesome space.
Yeah. And that's something that a lot of folks don't realize is how big we really are. I
Yep.
mean, just the footprint itself, we're 12,000 square feet. We are the largest Krav Maga studio in the Bay Area, and I think in Northern California. Don't quote me on that, guys. Somebody's going to fact check me on that, but we are 12,000 square feet. But I know that we're the largest in the city, and I know that we're the largest in the Bay Area as far as square footage wise. We have the 3 padded rooms that we use for our classes. Then, like you said, we have the full gym. And then the 3 situation rooms. So we have the nightclub, and then the shank tank, and then the home invasion room. So that's something that's really unique to us. And it's like Tony was saying, we do have that offered, and we do scenarios in those rooms. And if somebody says, hey, what if this happens, then we can adapt it to that room. We use the hallway downstairs for close quarters, and that helps. And that helps the students. It helps the families, especially if you've got a bunch of students here. You can work a crowd scene in that small
Yep.
hallway,
Yeah.
and
Well,
keep your child safe.
we worked on it. So I talked about my son. My son works with us in the room. One of the things that we've done in there is where we've done like a gauntlet type of situation where it's like we set up obstacles and we have people at the different obstacles, and you as a participant have to walk through, and then someone will attack you with like a gun or a stick or a bat or whatever, or they'll just try to take you from behind, or there's different scenarios. And one of the things that we do is we also train with our son. So we have like a whole scenario where like, okay, you get behind me, you hold my pants and don't let go. And so we learn my wife and I have been practicing doing the Krav techniques with our son kind of strapped to our back so that he knows exactly what to do in that kind of scenario. and we know how to like react. Okay, you're gonna stand here, you're gonna do this, and then we also get used to how it feels to have like someone basically pulling you back a little bit. It takes again, if you don't know what it feels like, you don't know how you're going to react in this situation, right? So if Cass is holding on, Cass is my son. If Cass is holding on to me as we're going, I have to get used to, okay, this is what it feels like to do this move with my son hanging off the and he loves it, and he'll try to contribute, like he'll do like a little foot stomp, or like I was telling Joel, just like I'm a proud papa, right? Because I practice with my son a lot, like just like him and I, like, hey, fight and stance and like do something, and he went straight, raked the eyes. As soon as he rakes the eyes, he goes straight for like a Krav hello.
Yeah.
Kick
Yeah,
right
I've
up the
been on the
wall.
receiving end of Cass's hellos. So yeah,
So he just rakes the eyes and immediately kicks you right in the jewels. And like, after you get over the initial like, oh, whoa, that hurt. It's just like you're like a proud parent. Like you start to like, okay, cool. Like he is absolutely absorbing everything, and it's just really great to see.
yep, absolutely, absolutely. And again, he's come a long, long way
Yeah.
from when he first came to us, and you guys came to us as well. So I do want to kind of put a shameless plug in for us. We do
Sure.
have our Survivor Series, and I know you've been to a couple of those. So the next Survivor Series is going to be on June 13th. That is Sunday. It starts at 1 o'clock, and this one is going to be for our office setting.
Yep.
So we will be having the hands-on portion will be downstairs. We'll do all the exercises and techniques up here, and then we'll take them downstairs to put them in practice there. So you want to give us a little highlight of what you feel about the Survivor Series? Because I know you've been to a couple of those.
Yeah. So one of the things the very first one when we were doing tactical anatomy, one of the things we did was we went down and practiced tactical anatomy in the hallway, right? It's like a small, narrow hallway where you don't have a lot of room to move. So how do you adjust what we just learned to kind of be in that room, right? And so like learning how to like, okay, I can't wind up a punch. It's got to come from here. I get, that sort of thing, right? And again, it's one of those things like it's practical from the perspective of like you can see yourself in that kind of situation where someone rushes you in a hallway, and so how do you react, right? Because you can't rely on your normal tools and normal, but you have to adjust, right? Like we've talked about a lot in classes, it's all about adaptability. You adapt. Like how do you adapt this to your situation, to your scenario, to your environment, to your whatever, and so we did weapons of convenience. So like essentially what weapons, how to use them, why to use them, like that sort of thing. So it's like there's weapons of convenience. We did a home invasion scenario, like how to set up our home, how to like stop someone from entering, like that, all those kinds of things. There's nothing that we've done in that I don't see applicable in some way, shape, or form, especially with like what's going on politically, where it feels like you may have to defend your family from whatever's happening. Like, and like I've now worked out scenarios with my wife and son, and we're now training those scenarios if like something were to happen. What's the plan? What do we do? How do we defend ourselves? And that all stems from the training we're getting from the Survivor Series. I think it's been like just unbelievably invaluable.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Let's talk about a little bit about something that I know that we are the only Krav Maga school and martial arts school in the city and in the Bay Area that is trauma informed. So
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on that.
sure. Like, I won't get too much into the details because it's more my wife's story to tell, but like there are a lot of students who are dealing with something, right? A lot of I would say a lot of the women that come into the program are coming in with some trauma. Like they're coming in specifically because something has happened to them, right? And one of the things that I know that we've talked about, like my wife included, right? So my wife and I, we constantly are stepping off the mat to deal, especially the exertion and the week, because Joel and the rest of the instructors kind of invite us to vocalize so that we're like, not just like, don't just be quiet, don't hold your breath, like vocalize. So you're breathing and you're kind of like guttering it out. Like you're like, everything is like, just let it out. Right. And so there's times where stuff comes up and like just stuff comes up and no one makes a deal out of it. No one tries to like, oh my God, like, it's nothing like that. Like my wife and I just step off the mat, we go, we do deep breaths, and we come back on the mat when she's ready. And we do this like we all kind of like work with each other to make sure we like are very like consent is very important in our training. We strive to check with everyone. I'm going to put my hands around your throat. Is that okay? Like, is that cool? Or things like, okay, we're going to have this little 5'3" woman with a 6'2" behemoth of a guy. We're going to have you guys train together, right? Like, so because you as the woman need to know what it feels like to train with someone like this big, and at the same time, it's like, okay, let's find the speed that works for you that you're comfortable with now, right? Because a lot of times it's like some guys are just like, oh, I'm gonna take it easy on them, which in my opinion doesn't serve them. But at the same time, like we have to kind of build up to 100%, right? So like I know with me, I've trained with some of the women in the class, and I'll start with, all right, I'll go 80. I'll show you what 80 feels like, and then you tell me if that's okay or do you need less until they're more comfortable, and we can do 80 or 100 or whatever. And I think that we kind of as a gym really do a great job of like having everyone in the space feel safe.
Awesome. So last thing I want to talk to you about is our next event that's happening after I mean, we'll get into this next week as well, is our Sunday Streets program that we are partnering with the Livable Streets of San Francisco. The first one we had was over in the Tenderloin. We did really, really well with that. We had our new tent. Everything looked great. This next one is going to be on the 20th. Yep, the 20th, June 20th. Starts at 11 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and it's going to be on Valencia and 14th and 25th Street. So it's the largest one so far this year, and we're really looking forward to being part of that. This is our third year doing this with them. It's for us to give back to our community because we're very thankful for being in our community, and we want to make sure that we're a community safe haven and get that out there for everybody. So I know that you and Savan and Cass came and were part of that festivity. So tell us a little bit about your experience with that.
Well, number one, it was a lot of fun. Like just like Cass brought his scooter, he was riding his scooter around. Like there was a line of people trying to break boards or hit the bobs or throw knives and I don't know, like hatchets, I think they're axes, right? And then I think I wasn't there for the demonstrations, but I know there were some Krav demonstrations of just like some simple techniques that you could like, here, this is an easy way to get out of this, or an easy way to do this, or an easy way to do that. And then obviously just we have a lot of candy, I think.
Yeah, we did.
We got some chocolate, you know?
Chocolate's always fun.
It's like throw a couple axes, get a piece of chocolate, and be on your way. But and then obviously, I think any one of us will be more than happy to just to talk to you about whatever you're dealing with and whatever like what your goals are, what you're trying to do. Like I know for me, like I said, we went in with my son's just being able to defend himself as kind of like the main reason we were there, and it's turned into, no, this is something that we as a family do. We do Krav as a family. That's what we do. Like, I'd love to meet you guys at the Sunday Streets. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, and it's very, very fun. And we are definitely building a community and building our tribe, as we call it here. So we're definitely teaching all of our students, all of our recruits, all of our kids and families how we live with confidence and to train hard, fight harder, and go home alive. So that's kind of our thing here. So I do want to thank Tony for his time today. I really appreciate you coming by and using your precious time, taking it away from your wonderful family. So I do appreciate you doing that. Do want to let everybody know that we are located at 1455 Bush Street here in San Francisco. You can always reach out to us by text or phone, and our number is 650-609-8118. Once again, 650-609. And you can also check us out on the web, and we'll drop that in the description below. But it's also www.combat-crav.com. So thank you very much, and we really appreciate you coming to our second official podcast. And again, Tony, thank you so much for your time. And everyone else, have a wonderful day. Live with confidence, and Kita.
Kita.